Hello everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Unlimited Pancakes. I know we said that we were going to be on hiatus, which we were, but now we're back to cover the playoffs and anything else we feel like covering. I am your host, Fernando Ramirez, aka MasterChef, and with me is the original crew, starting to my right, Mr. DeWreck, aka Dr.DeWreck.
Yeah, what's up?
Oh, Jesus. Okay, we have Jonathan Leung, aka Balls to the Wall.
Hi.
And we have Elliot Nwosu, aka EpicPleasure. Okay, that's gonna be his introduction for us. I was gonna introduce we've gotten a couple of questions about the actual title of the show, why it's called Unlimited Pancakes. I'll get to that at the end of the show, so we can just get right at it. So the first thing, what?
He was asking who's actually asking these questions.
People are asking questions.
You got points.
Oh, right. Okay, screw everyone. All right, so the first thing we're going to discuss is...
Wait, aren't you going to describe why it's called Unlimited Pancakes?
I said I'm going to describe it at the end.
Oh, I should be listening.
We'll listen there.
God, pay attention. Okay, so the first thing we're going to discuss today is the regular season came to an end and the playoffs are going to start tomorrow. So we're going to discuss the playoffs, but our first topic of the day is going to be the top 5 players of the year. I got this idea of doing our own individual lists off of other websites like ESPN. They had a top 30, and I decided, 30 for us would be too long, so let's just shorten it down to 5. So each of us is going to go down. We're going to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and say who our player for each category is. We're going to agree to disagree and just see where this goes. So I'll start with Derek. Derek, who's been your top 5 player throughout the whole regular season this year?
Okay, well, number 1 would be LeBron, like everybody else. Number 2 would be Kevin Durant, mainly because nobody else has stepped up to the plate to be number 2. Number 3 would be Kobe. Number 4 would be Wade. And number 5 would be Chris Paul.
Well, I almost had the same thing as Derek. I have LeBron James number 1, Kevin Durant number 2. But for me, he's a certain number 2. There's no doubt that he's the second best player next to LeBron James. Then I have Chris Paul, Kobe Bryant, and as my 5th player, I know this might be a little controversial, but I have Tony Parker as my 5th.
I don't think that's controversial, but we'll get into that. Elliot, what's yours? Let me guess. Kobe.
No. It's a little slightly. I mean, almost correct.
Okay.
But I have to go with LeBron number 1.
Okay.
And then for number 2, I have to put 2 players there. I have to put Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook because of, it's a tandem. Number 3, Kobe. Number 4, I have to put Chris Paul because without him, the Clippers are garbage. And for number 5, I'm going to go with Stephen Curry.
Okay. Well, for me, my top 5 were Reggie Evans at number 1. I had Luke Walton at number 2.
Luke Walton! All right.
A chewed-up shoe at number 3.
Brian Cook?
Oh, yeah, Brian Cook at number 4. And no, that's not it.
Brian Cook actually in a Hall of Fame list.
Hall of Fame, Brian Cook.
Hall of Shit list. Sorry, wrong one.
Yeah, Dexter Pittman at number 5. So guys, let's get into this. Well, I'll say mine. Okay, mine was LeBron James at number 1, Kevin Durant number 2. I have Chris Paul at number 3, Carmelo Anthony at number 4, and I have Tony Parker at number 5. So let's talk about our 5s. My 5 was Parker. Your 5 was Dwayne Wade.
No, Chris Paul.
Okay, Derek's was Chris Paul.
Mine was Tony Parker.
John was Tony Parker, and you?
Stephen Curry.
Stephon Curry. Is there any reason in particular that you picked Dwayne Wade to be number 5 on
Chris
your
Paul.
list? Chris Paul, I'm sorry. I keep thinking Dwayne Wade. Stop. Shut up. Why did you pick Chris Paul at number 5?
I put Chris Paul as he deserves him to be in the top 5, but I feel like he's still young enough to improve higher on that list.
Mm-hmm.
And I always value age as an important decision factor when I make these points that I'm going to talk about. But I feel like the older generation are still playing at a phenomenal level, and they deserve to be recognized, while Chris Paul is still young enough that he can still climb higher, and as the older ones retire.
Okay. Why did you pick Tony Parker as your 5?
Tony Parker is, to me, the spark plug for the San Antonio Spurs. Everything starts, the Spurs offense, everything starts with their pick and roll. And ultimately, Tony Parker is the one who starts the pick and roll. He runs it like a puppeteer. Everything, all the strings, he knows exactly how to control it. He shoots, and also he's a point guard, and he shoots 52% from the field, and he averages 20 points. Not many other point guards can do that. Chris Paul's 40%?
Yeah.
It's just the fact that he's so efficient with his shots, and makes other players around him better, I think that he deserves to be in the top 5 category for sure.
I agree with you, and I definitely feel because he plays for the San Antonio Spurs, anybody that does anything for San Antonio, they're not going to get that much coverage from the press. And I feel that Parker this year, aside from the unfortunate injury, which has kind of, hindered them towards, the end of the season where he couldn't contribute as much, he has just been the point guard that San Antonio has needed to get, for the 16th straight time, a 50-win season, be a consistent, high-caliber elite playoff team. Of course, with Tim Duncan playing good. And I kind of wanted to put Tim Duncan at my top 5. ESPN had him at 10, I believe, 10 in their top 30 or whatever. And I wanted to give Duncan props because at the age, 37 years old, he's putting up numbers as if he was in his prime. That's phenomenal.
It's the Spurs system, though.
Regardless of the system, he's still playing well into it, and that's why he's getting all those numbers. But I think people would like to see Westbrook, and I see a lot of lists. I saw a lot of lists where Westbrook was in the top 5, but I just wanted to give Parker the edge over Westbrook. Westbrook is, he's going to be the best, and he already is in a lot of people's minds. He's peaking. He's going to hit his prime along with Durant. That's a whole nother story. But I feel for this season, Parker to me definitely deserves to be in that 5. And Elliot, you chose Stephon Curry as your 5. Why?
Yes, I mean because. For one, on a team that he's on also, and I think he's always dinged up, but he has one of the best shot, if not the best shot in the NBA. And you were saying how Tony Parker is one of the few point guards who scores 20. Stephon Curry was averaging about 23 points a game this season also, and he can only go up. Like Tony Parker is aging, but Stephon Curry is only like 25. So he's only going to get better.
And Curry broke the 3-point record.
Yeah, he broke the 3-point record.
272 season, beat Ray Allen's 2006
So there's no doubt he can shoot, he can handle the ball, and then all he has to do is learn how to pass the ball better, which can come with, I guess, better wingman or like a better big man, because Andrew Bogut was injured most of the time.
I was thinking about putting Curry in my 5 because the dude is just the most phenomenal shooter that I've seen. The dude is just a talent. Shooter. He is a pure shooter. The only reason why I didn't want to put him in the top 5 for this year is just because I still need to see him a little bit longer in terms of health.
Yeah.
And I feel defensively he still has a little bit more to go. Because that's another reason why, Harden, I wanted to put him in my top 5, but his defense still has a lot to cry for. He needs to improve his defense.
The whole Rockets don't play defense, to be honest, though.
Yeah, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in the playoff section. Okay, so quickly, let's go down. Number 4, I chose Carmelo Anthony because, to me, ever since the Olympics, a lot of questions going into the season was, can he be more than a one-dimensional player? I feel personally that he has succeeded. He has given New York a lot of hope that they haven't had in a long time. Made them a 50-win team. They're a legitimate candidate to if the planets align, to usurp the Heat and make it to the NBA Finals. He's doing more than just being a ball stopper. He doesn't, he's actually making the system flow in the Knicks offense. He's rebounding, he's passing, he's doing everything that a lot of people were, begging. Do those things, Melo. Don't just shoot. And I feel that Melo deserves for this year, given everything that he's done, given the improvements that he's done to his game and what he can do in the playoffs, to me, he deserves to be number 4. And Derek, you're number 4, and why?
My number 4 was Wade, because I feel like he's the example of how all aging superstars should become if a new superstar arrives on their team, like LeBron. Like, I feel like he produces almost the same numbers as he did as if he was the number 1 option, but he actually stepped down gracefully as number 2 option and actually is playing phenomenally well for a season and for his age and his banged up body.
Yeah.
Well, I will have to say about Dwayne Wade is that I was very close to putting him in the top 5 because I remember last year when it was the Boston versus Miami, Spoelstra, or the Miami Heat's coach, he decided to put Dwayne Wade on Rondo, and Dwayne Wade just shut Rondo down. Rondo was never heard of any time again. And just defensively, Dwayne Wade is on another level. He's one of those true, legit two-way players. He can block shots, steals. He can guard up to the small forward spot. The guy is amazing. But my number 4...
Hold on, wait. What did you call the coach? Spoelstra?
I don't know his name. He's just getting it done. That's all.
I know. I just that got me.
Plus Rondo's garbage.
Well, I want to go Kobe Bryant, despite, I always have an issue with his shot selection. But the fact that he's carried his team all this way, he still averages, 5+ rebounds, 5+ assists, and he's scoring at this high of a level. He's still... And he's also a good two-way player. When he needs to play shutdown defense, he's done it. And just the fact that he's been carrying his team, I think he deserves to still be in the top 5, even though despite his age.
Okay. And Elliot,
I
what?
had Chris Paul because of what he's basically done for the Clippers franchise. Like before him, they were what? Like it was a contest between who was actually it wasn't a contest between who the best team was in LA. It was always the Lakers. Whichever team, like I said, Kobe was on was the best team. And then now with Chris Paul there, and
They
Blake
won the
Griffin, DeAndre
division.
Jordan, yeah, they won the division for
First
the first
time ever.
Yeah, Jesus.
He's changed the culture of the Los Angeles Clippers. People believe in that. That's why I have him as my number 3. I feel that Chris Paul without him, that team is not going to be anywhere in the.
He changed the culture of that team
Basically.
for sure.
That's something to say
He
about.
made the fans believe again.
And remember during the debates of Deron Williams and Chris Paul Chris Paul is by far, as of now, the best point guard in my opinion. That's why he deserves to be, for me, number 3.
I think he's the best pure point guard in terms of passing.
Yeah. So that's why I have him as number
He's
2.
a complete package.
Yeah.
That's
He
why you
can
have his
score,
number
he
4.
can pass.
He's everything. Derek, you're number 3.
My number 3 was Kobe. Same reasons as John.
Okay, he had Kobe because age, defying age.
Yes,
He's always
defying
great.
age.
Yeah, he's a fantastic player.
Mine was Chris Paul, obviously.
Chris Paul.
No need for commentary on that.
Yeah. All right, and just quickly, I think we all can agree number 1 and 2 respectively are LeBron James, and we'll get to yours in a second. LeBron James and Kevin Durant. I think I speak for all of us. LeBron James is just at a whole nother level. It's ridiculous. I think he's at that point where Michael Jordan was, where they're going to start eventually not giving him the MVP just because of, variety reasons. Because if he's going to be playing like that for the next couple of years, now that he's in his prime, now that he's figured out the game,
I don't see when he's going to stop.
the age, we'll have to see when it stops. And Kevin Durant,
Maybe his hairline will decide.
I have some questions still about Kevin Durant in terms of his aggressiveness with the ball. You know how sometimes I feel like sometimes it's Westbrook's team, not Kevin Durant's
that's
team.
That's why I said they're duo at number 2 for me.
Okay, I can respect that.
Because I feel if you separate them, if you put Russell Westbrook in another team, I don't think he'll do as well as he's doing with the Thunder.
I think he
Same thing for
would
Durant.
because Westbrook is so aggressive. That's one of the things
But
I admire about Westbrook.
The reason why he can be aggressive is because he has a Durant to like someone like.
No, but that's what I'm saying. If you put Westbrook in another team with maybe a complimentary star, I think he would still do just as good. Well, I don't know. I don't want to play that scenario game because I really don't know. But all I'm saying is like Kevin Durant, to me, in terms of talent, better than Westbrook. He has so much more room to grow. And Durant, I think at number 2, I was debating if I wanted to lower him. But I think, a 1-2 of LeBron and Durant is just perfect.
I mean, he just improved this whole year. I mean, he took two fewer shots this year, and he's averaged 28 points. I mean, he gets to the free throw line. I think he made the most free throws this season. And plus, he gets a 1+ block, 1+ steal. I mean, he's a legitimate two-way threat now.
Yeah. So that's our list, regardless if you agree or disagree. I mean, everybody disagrees on when it comes to lists. I have seen so many trolls disagree on the lists that I've been reading, but these are our lists, and you can't lose. These are great players. It's a very talented pool that we have right now in the NBA.
I was skeptical. I was going to put Greg Oden as number 1.
I'm still going with that burnt shoe, but we'll see what happens with that. All right, next thing.
Greg Oden.
All right, next topic that we're going to discuss. It's been a memorable season. It's crazy to think that just a year ago we had a lockout season, and who knows if things would have gone to the worst. We might have not even had a season this year, depending on how the CBA and all that stuff would have worked out. But we got a full season of NBA. We got a full season of LeBron James. So I just want to go around quickly and say, what were our most memorable, there's a lot of them. What were the most memorable things of the year that you guys enjoyed watching? And I'll start with Derek.
Most memorable, sad to say, would have to be Kobe with his injury. This is the first injury that Kobe can't play through, even though he's such a hardhead. But it's sad to see that he won't be in the playoffs and help the Lakers try to fight past the Spurs. But he had a phenomenal season, and it's just sad to see him go.
It's just crazy because when I saw the injury and I realized how bad it is, I was like, this is something he's never dealt with before. This isn't a time when he really had a few years left. He wanted to attempt. And whether or not you hate or love Kobe, I think we all agree, he brings something to the NBA that's just aggressiveness. He's a guy that you hate. He's a guy that you want to beat. But to actually, see him go down like this, not get your shot at him, like watch your team respectively beat his Lakers, it's kind of disappointing, And regardless of what people think of Kobe Bryant being selfish or whatever, I just hope he comes back and is able to go one last time for it. because I would feel it would be wrong for his career to end on an injury, for his particular career to end
Especially
like
when
that.
he's carrying his team the whole season.
Yeah, so it's crazy. John, what was your favorite?
I gotta go. The time LeBron James just embarrassed and destroyed the soul of Jason Terry with the dunk he had over him at Boston. I strongly dislike Jason Terry over the ways he destroyed the Houston Rockets playoff chances.
I think any Houston Rockets fan that saw that dunk was just like, oh God,
just
yes.
see him get embarrassed, like down on the floor crying for help. Just brought me great satisfaction. Oh yeah, it was a great dunk by LeBron too. Yeah, I guess I should mention that.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Elliot, what was your best
Mine
moment?
has to be DeAndre Jordan's dunk on
Brandon Knight.
Brandon Knight. I mean, I feel bad for Brandon Knight because he got crossed up by
Kyrie Irving.
Kyrie Irving at the All-Star, the rookie.
And then he got injured after that dunk.
God, like
I
it
feel
was,
so
it was
bad
just
for him.
disgusting. Like,
Yeah.
oh God, and then the face DeAndre Jordan made
Oh,
after.
yeah.
Oh God.
And then Chris Paul's confusions.
I just feel so terrible for Brandon Knight still. Hopefully, they
He's
got a
having
good
a
future.
pretty good season, but I just
He's like the
laughing
T-Mac,
stock of
yeah,
the
T-Mac
NBA.
dunked on
Sean Bradley.
Yeah.
Oh
He's the
my
new
God, I
Sean
love
Bradley
that.
to the NBA.
get done up, get dunked on.
To me, I guess it sounds cliche, but to me it was the emergence of LeBron James this year. I feel like to me, one of the great things being a fan of the history of the NBA is always reading about the legends and reading about their rise to elite status and taking over the NBA. And I feel that we have a privilege to see, one of the great stars actually take them, make his own legacy and become one of the greats, whether it is winning multiple championships, regardless of how his career ends. He's just so much fun to watch play. The streak that he had with the Heat, just the things that he's doing are phenomenal after all the criticism that he went through, and based on his decisions or how he played or stuff like that. I think he's finally coming to his own. We got to see a full season of LeBron in his prime. It was great, and hopefully we'll see more of them. And hopefully our Rockets will take him down in his Heat at one point. It would be fantastic to watch. But
Not gonna happen.
who knows? We'll see. But right now, that was the most memorable moment to me. So now on to the main thing, the playoffs. It's going to be exciting. I am very excited for a lot of the matches in this first round. But so the things that we're going to discuss is obviously the matchups, who's going to win, blah, blah, blah. So let's get started. And the first thing we're going to decide is we're going to predict who's going to win each matchup and by how many. So the first match that we're going to talk about is going to be in the East, the Bucks versus the Heat. And I'm sorry, but I have the Heat sweeping them 4-0. Derek?
Same.
Derek has sweep.
Sweep, come on.
John has sweep. Elliot?
I think the Bucks are gonna come out with a good show, but still go down for all.
Okay. I was a little scared about what direction you're going. But, guys,
Hey, you don't be surprised. Monte Ellis pulls out some ridiculous stuff. No, goes for 60 points and still lose.
I'm not going to lie. I would love to, there was a worse team that went to the playoffs and caused a 7-game series, the 2007-2008 Hawks, when they took the Celtics to 7 games. So it is possible. But with this Milwaukee team and with that Heat team, I'm sorry.
It's all about matchups too.
It's about and I don't see any matchups that the Bucks really. I think maybe an X factor could maybe be Larry Sanders in the center,
Right.
if he can take on Birdman. But dude, the Heat have been 39-2 since Birdman came. That dude is just playing ecstatic for the Heat. I think the intensity that the playoffs brings, the Heat are ready for it. I don't know if Jennings and Monte Ellis are ready to handle that.
Experience too matters.
So I just think that it's clearly an outclassed thing. And in a way, I kind of don't want to see the Bucks win anyway. Maybe make it interesting, but this is a Heat team I want to see face in the further rounds. And to lose to a Bucks team like that would just be completely embarrassing to me. I don't know if you guys have anything to say on that.
Nope. New topic.
I think, okay, but the last thing I will say about this, the one person I feel has a lot riding on this, Brandon Jennings. He did not get the contract extension from the Bucks that he wanted. And with a lot of free agents like Chris Paul and Dwight Howard probably re-signing with their teams, this is Jennings' coming out party. He needs to prove himself so that maybe a team that wants to overpay him, he gets his check, he gets his dues. So Brandon Jennings has a lot riding on this series. Let's see how he does, if he shines, and he maybe raises an eyebrow, because he's going to get a lot more audience people watching him, than he usually did in the regular season. So all of us agree Heat sweep, and that's the end of that. Next series is the Celtics versus the Knicks. I think this is the most, and a lot of people agree, the most enticing series in the East. It's old rivalries. You've got gritty Celtics versus, a hot, hyped up Knicks with, questions to prove. But I say Knicks in 6. Derek, what do you think?
I say Knicks in 6 also, but it all depends how Knicks big men are through the series.
Okay.
I'm gonna say Knicks in 5. I just don't think Boston has it in them. I mean, the Knicks have finally figured it out. I mean, the emergence of Carmelo Anthony and J.R. Smith has really given them a boost. So I just think the Knicks are gonna make this quick work of the Boston Celtics.
Yeah, I say Knicks in 5 also. There's no chance for Rondo coming back, is there?
No.
Yeah, so I mean, I might go with a sweep, but I think Boston. I don't think KG is gonna go down.
No. A sweep would be impressive on the Knicks end, but the Celtics, they have experience. Doc Rivers is a very disciplined coach. They have good defense. The problem is going to be their offense. That's always going to be the problem. Without Rondo being the general and being able to make his own shots and distribute the ball, you've got, I don't know if Avery Bradley, phenomenal defender. I don't know how he's going to do it with the point. It's Paul Pierce's and Kevin Garnett's. I think this might be their last run. Paul Pierce has been playing pretty good, for his age, but I'm just not sure how the Celtics are going to be able to pull this one off if they can't score for point with that, high octane.
Yeah, I don't.
They're going to need the luck of the Irish for this series.
Oh God. Yeah, but quickly, what did you mean, Derek, by the bigs of the Knicks?
Oh, they've been pretty banged up since the end of the season. Chris Copeland, Tyson Chandler.
Kenyon Martin?
Kenyon Martin.
Yeah, and Camby never ended up playing for
right.
them.
So, 7 games, potentially 7 games is a long stretch, and you got to travel and all that time. So if their bigs can stay healthy, then they're going to have Celtics have no chance of winning.
Yeah, but I think they'll definitely make it interesting.
Right.
All right, next series, the Pacers and Hawks. It's not one of the more enticing matchups, but it could be very interesting. For me, I think Pacers will handle the Hawks. The Hawks are very dysfunctional right now. Their offense hasn't been clicking. They have many questions about their team. They've always been that team, but they have a definite ceiling. It's always the second round. And I think now that they're facing a Pacers team that is made for the playoffs, I say Pacers in 5.
Pacers in 5 also. Paul George, you need to keep an eye on him. He's going to explode in the playoffs. That's my guess.
This is his time to shine.
Exactly. And another free agent to keep a lookout for, a pure wingman, would be Kyle Korver, because his contract is ending. So keep an eye out on him too.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go with Pacers in 5. I mean, your defense has been amazing this season. And Paul George, I think, going to rise up to the occasion. Just finish the Hawks, make quick work of that.
Yeah, Pacers in 5 also. I think they're just waiting for I think they already basically know they're going to make it to the next round, so they're just prepping for what's next.
Okay. Just a quick question on this series. I think we all agree Pacers will make good work of the Hawks. Do you think that this is the year that maybe, there's always a star that emerges and proves himself. Do you think Paul George is going to be that person that is going to make people say, watch out, this guy is coming for the Heat, along with, a very solidified defense, one of the top 5 defenses around in the Pacers? Do you think Paul George could be that X factor where he could emerge as the superstar and who knows, maybe take that Pacers team to places people didn't think?
This season he's proved it. Just look at his numbers. I can't think of it top of my head, but his numbers prove it, and he's been playing great the whole year.
Well, he'll need to be the superstar if the Pacers hope to get anywhere, because he's the one who starts that offense. He's the one who controls the offense, so they'll need him if they want to go past the Heat in the finals or in the conference finals.
All right.
Yeah.
And the last series is the 4 and 5, the Bulls and Nets. This one I think is the more even series. You can go with either or. I'm not really sure which one I wanted to go with. At the very end, I think that the Bulls defense is going to be very good. Given how Noah plays, has been injured lately. If Noah can come back, he can be a factor. But in the end, I think it's going to come down to the backcourt of Deron Williams and Joe Johnson making the difference. I feel that they will be enough that playoffs games usually come down to the last 5 minutes. I feel like that backcourt is strong. It's a superior backcourt to the Bulls, and they are the leaders that have to take the Nets to the next level. I want to say that they will do so. I give the Nets in 7.
I say Bulls in 6. I just feel like Bulls have no chance of winning the championship, in my opinion, but every player on that team can step up if they need to. Like, maybe one player will have a bad game, but the other one will carry the rest of the team. Like Bellinelli, like he will have some off days, but on the days that they need him to step up, he'll produce amazing numbers on scoring.
So who do you have?
Well, Bulls on 6.
Bulls at 6.
I'm gonna go with the Nets on this one. It's just that I'm not sure how healthy Joakim Noah is, and Joakim Noah is the anchor of that Bulls defense. So if Joakim Noah plays throughout the series, I would give the series to the Bulls. But since I sincerely doubt that Joakim Noah is going to be completely healthy, I'm going to say the Nets in 6. Just because Brook Lopez is going to take advantage of the Bulls front court. I mean, I don't think Carlos Boozer or Nazir Mohammed or Taj Gibson can really have an answer for Brook Lopez. And this is Brook Lopez's time to shine, to show he's a legit all-star.
And you also, I think, X Factor for me, Reggie Evans. That dude is going to be hogging the boards. You know, say what you want, the dude has no offensive game whatsoever, but the dude knows one thing, and it's rebounding, and he is good at it.
Yeah.
Elliot, what do you think?
It depends how long. Like, if it goes like 6-7 games, I have to give it to the Nets, because if it goes that long, the Bulls' big men are going to be tired, and then the backcourt of the Nets, like you said, is way better than the backcourt of the Bulls right now. So I'll have to say I'll give it to the Nets. I'll give it to Nets in 6.
Nets in 6. And this is going to be a really slow-paced kind of game. You know, it's going to be a lot of half-court sets. These two are one of the slowest teams. So if fans like defense, to like half-court sets, really slow-paced game, I don't think any of these games are going to touch 100 points.
It's like watching the fucking Spurs.
So these are going to be some very slow games. But and just real quick, overall, I think we can all agree the East matchups are not the most interesting matchups to us, especially in the first round.
It's the East.
It's very straightforward. You know, we feel like it's 1, 2, 3, and then maybe a little interesting with the Bulls and Nets. But what series to you guys in the East do you think you'd be interested in? I think for me, the Celtics-Knicks, that would be the most interesting series to watch for the East. Derek?
Celtics-Knicks because of the history.
Celtics-Knicks?
I'm going to say Miami and Milwaukee because I just want to see how, like, if Miami can just make quick work. Because we know Miami, the one weakness I would say is just their size in the front court, and that's the strength of Milwaukee. They're big men. Larry Saunders, Ilyasova, John Henson has been stepping up. So I just want to see how the Heat respond. But I still think the Heat are going to destroy them. But I just want to see how Milwaukee responds.
Yeah, like make sure that the Bucks don't do any surprises. Just get them quick and get your rest. Get ready for the next round.
Say the Heat and Bucks. I just want to see the Heat destroy the Bucks. I mean, it's no series in the East sounds more like as interesting. So I guess the Knicks and Celtics, but they don't have Rondo. It would be a lot more interesting if they did.
All right, so Heat and Bucks. All right, and now on to what we feel the more interesting matchups. I mean, even at the end of the last season,
finally.
It was crazy, just crazy watching who would go up against who. And I think we got all the matchups that we really wanted to see. I feel every single match is interesting, it's exciting, and regardless of whether or not we think certain teams will win for sure just because of how elite they are, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. So first series that we're going to begin with is the Houston Rockets versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Anybody that's writing a book is in love with this storyline just because you have the history of Harden coming to us, facing his old team, the pressure of being the first option instead of being the sixth man. Kevin Martin, who was pretty good for the Rockets, not solid, but still pretty good coming back, the factor that he's going to be on the Thunder. So this is going to be fun to watch, but unfortunately, the Thunder will win, and I think the Thunder will win in 5. So Thunder in 5. Derek?
I say Thunder in 6.
Thunder in 6.
I'll say Thunder in 6.
Elliot?
Sweep for the Thunder.
Sweep for the Thunder. And like I said, Rockets, the fastest team in the whole league in terms of, and when I mean by pace, I mean possessions per 48 minutes. So in terms of possessions, they have the most amount of possessions. They move the ball. They only know one speed, fast and fast. Yeah. That's all they know, and it comes down to defense.
Yeah. Which we don't play. The question is, are we fast enough to stop the talent which the Thunder has?
And if we stay hot in the right moments, because that's the thing with the Rockets. When they're on, it's fun to watch, but then when they're not, it's like, it's rough.
The thing is, more than not, we're off. So
Yeah.
actually, it depends if Harden is gonna explode like he did against the San Antonio Spurs in last year's playoffs. If that can happen, but he needs to do it 48 minutes, not just.
I think the key to the Rockets' success is going to be their 3-point shooting. We all know the Rockets, they rely either get the points either the 3-point line or in the paint. I mean, I think the Rockets take the fewest shots in mid-range because Daryl Morey emphasizes those are the least accurate shots you can ever take. So it depends. If the Rockets can make the 3-pointers and make it a close game, I think the Rockets can push the Thunder to the point where when the Thunder were the 8th seed and they were going against the Lakers, we will be that new rising team.
I agree.
This
This is going to be
This is a big game for us, not in terms of winning the series, but it's showing people, hey, we're a force to be reckoned with in the future.
experience for our youth. We need this kind of stuff. These are the kind of things that teams on the rise need to go through, and I feel like these games with the Thunder will definitely give us the experience that, if we lose, I mean, I would love to see us win, but if the Rockets lose, they'll come back being like, we've been there before. We know the things that we need to do, the discipline, the concentration.
Yeah.
Derek, what do you think?
I also think like it depends if we do have a really good showing, it could also add to the point where more free agents would like to come to Houston. So
I don't like the free agency coming to Houston part because I like the young team.
Uh-huh.
We're a run and gun, but we're gonna solidify whatever we need to do, our weak points. So I don't want an oldie coming in and ruining everything. But I feel like if we can, as Houston Rockets, if we can keep the momentum going in our favor and not drop it like we usually do, then we have a very good chance of pushing the Thunder to 7. But I still feel like Thunder are just gonna.
The Thunder, I think, and it's going to be the key players in terms of slowing down the game. It's going to be, I think, Ibaka and that front court. Usually the last 5 minutes slow down. That's going to be in the favor of the Thunder, going possession per possession. And the Thunder's front court, I think, is going to be able to stop the penetration of Harden and Lin, which will mean that we're going to have to go to our threes. If the threes don't go down, we're doomed. If they go in, well, fine and dandy. But in the end, it is going to come down to the last 5 minutes, and it's going to be possession per possession. The Thunder, they outclass us in terms of that, which is not a bad thing. We're still young, and just to be in the playoffs is an incredible thing to say. But the Thunder have the edge, and I think 5.
Exactly.
Yeah. But it'd be nice to see 7, and it's going to be fun. All I know is those games are going to be,
This is gonna be the
so
best
much fun to
series
watch. So
to
much fun to
watch.
watch. Okay, the next series is the Lakers and the Spurs. There's a lot of history here. These teams dominated the early 2000s. They were the ones, except for the Mavericks, to win championships throughout that whole decade. So who do you guys have? I have the Spurs in 5.
I have Spurs in 5 also.
I have the Spurs in 6.
Elliot?
sadly, I have the Spurs in 7.
Spurs in 7. So we all agree the Lakers. No one has the Lakers winning.
I want to say, but they don't have Kobe. Like,
The
they don't have Kobe.
The Lakers have size to give San Antonio trouble with Dwight and Powell, but I just think it's going to be Tony Parker just destroying, because the Lakers defense has been very questionable throughout the whole season, even with their two bigs. I think Tony Parker's going to pick them apart, especially with how San Antonio moves the ball and their ability to hit open shots when needed. I just think that San Antonio is just going to handle business.
I have to say, though, the Lakers and Rockets game, the last game of the regular season, they actually stepped up their defense the last 4 minutes of the fourth quarter.
The defense of the Lakers has been pretty good lately. With it actually kind of looks like the team, it plays a little bit better without Kobe Bryant, because without Kobe holding the ball is moving around, and it's centralized around the Howard and Gasol. And Gasol has actually been playing pretty good lately. I feel that the Lakers will make this interesting, and I'm glad. I want to see interesting series. And maybe a Howard-Gasol tandem down the line, like down the stretch when it comes to the few minutes in terms of possessions. That big game, the big men could make a huge factor. But like you guys, I still feel that the Spurs, they're deeper in terms of the bench. When, Gasol and them get few minutes, you basically have a D-League out for the Lakers. And the Spurs are just way too deep. They'll outclass the Lakers. But I think the Lakers will make it interesting enough to 6, 7 games around that time.
Let me just see who's interesting for sure.
It'll be fun. It'll be fun to watch. But and it'll be fun to watch for me because I am excited to see Tracy McGrady get 30 points per game.
Oh, actually,
forgot.
I forgot about the T-Mac factor.
He's gonna finally go.
Unless he brings the curse with him.
Yeah, he's a curse. He's a first-round curse.
Oh my God! Okay.
It's a trap.
But then it's just bad for Kobe too then, because they'll be like, oh, we don't need Kobe.
Oh no.
I don't think that's ever going to be the case for the
Yeah,
Lakers.
I'm pretty sure.
Well, in a way,
the
this
curse is going to outweigh the fact that they don't have Kobe.
So now you say the Lakers win because of the
The
T-Mac curse?
Lakers in 7. I completely forgot about Kobe.
You mean T-Mac.
I forgot about
Oh my
T-Mac.
God, I would feel so sad for T-Mac. It's like Tracy McGrady.
This is my chance. No.
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh God, T-Mac.
All right. So we all have
Yeah,
Spurs
alright.
except for Elliot because of the T-Mac curse. So go Lakers. Oh, poor T-Mac. All right, the next series, which I think this is, to me, no defense. There's going to be absolutely no defense. If you're a fan of defense, you ain't getting any in this series. The Nuggets and the Warriors. This is just going to be
Fun.
fire against fire, just shootouts, going into the paint, 150-plus games. This is going to be just a very, very fun. But the X factor for me is always going to be home court, playing at that altitude. The Nuggets have a terrific home record this year. They've been 38-3 at home. That's phenomenal, to say the least. I say the Nuggets are going to win in a very exciting 6-game series.
I say Nuggets in 7.
Nuggets in 7?
I'm going to go Nuggets with 7 for sure.
I really want Golden State to win, but I don't think it's going to happen. So I'm going to say Nuggets in 6.
Nuggets in 6?
Nuggets in 6. Unless Stephen Curry can pull something. He needs to be on point. I mean, he can be, but
You need him to rise. He has
yeah,
to prove
but
himself
the
in
thing
a
is,
series.
can he do that for like however long his series goes? I think I don't think he has it in him. At least not.
He's your
at
top
this
5
point.
player, good sir. Yeah, these are both running gun teams. The Warriors are a 3-point team. They live by the 3. The Nuggets live by the interior. And I think in the end, because of the styles, contrasting styles, the interior will beat the 3 because it's high percentage shots in the paint rather than the 3. Even though you have Klay Thompson, Stephon Curry, all these guys that just shoot lights out. I feel that, and also the Nuggets, playing in that altitude, that is a huge factor that people sometimes don't like to consider. I feel that the Nuggets just have the advantage, but regardless, it's going to be so much fun. This is the number 2 and number 4 in terms of pace. Some of the fastest teams we're just going to see in 1 minute, probably like 20 points be done. I know, just being ridiculous, but
Yeah, and both of them are conflicting different styles. Like you said, Golden State, they score by with their jump shots of Curry, led by Curry and Klay Thompson, and it's Denver Nuggets who they score their points by running the ball and getting offensive rebounds and forcing turnovers. So let's see which style prevails in this. But like I said, just like you said, Denver. I think Denver is going to pull it out because they have the home court advantage and they've proven to be unstoppable at home.
yeah. Derek, any comments?
The same thing as John, but I just want to see the Nuggets' athleticism prevail over just Stephen Curry's shooting.
Yeah.
Ty Lawson, he's going to have to step up. He's the closest thing they have to a star in Denver. We're going to have to.
Yeah.
Iguodala?
Yeah.
Iguodala to me is not a star. As much he's like a good perimeter defender. He's a good okay shooter, but
I think
he's not an X
all-around
factor.
package.
I think he's
but-
more of a defender though. Now.
Yeah, he's a defensive minded player, and it's good to have him. But I feel that Ty Lawson, he's the guy that's going to be holding the ball. He's going to be the one penetrating.
I wouldn't call Ty Lawson a star.
He's a very good clutch shooter.
He's their number 1 option now.
I would say Ty Lawson.
He's a good option.
You wouldn't call him a star,
I
but he's the closest thing they have.
I would still call Iguodala a complete package, but not even the All-Star level, but he's just a complete package.
But who would you give it to in the last seconds in your team if you had the Nuggets, Iguodala or Lawson?
Iguodala has made some clutch shots. If you actually just YouTube search him, like it's pretty good. But I'll give it to Ty Lawson. You're right.
Lawson, right? Yeah. So we have the Nuggets winning that one. And the last series of the Western Conference, this one to me is actually, I think, my second favorite aside from the Rockets and Thunder, the Clippers and Grizzlies. And this is actually one of the more even series in my opinion, and I think I'm going to give it to the Grizzlies in 7.
Ooh.
Yep. Well,
Really?
I'm going to give it to the Grizzlies in
Really?
7.
You think Tyrone?
Clippers at 6.
Clippers in 6?
Well, let's see. I'm going to have to say Clippers in 7. This is definitely going to be a 7-game series, but I just think Chris Paul is the only legitimate superstar throughout both teams. Gasol has proven he's worthy. He's a top 5 center. But I just think the ability of Chris Paul to be scoring the clutch, and to orchestrate his team to win games. I just think he's going to be able to pull it out for them.
Who do you have?
I would have to go with Clippers in 6. I don't think Tayshaun. I hated the whole trade with sending Tayshaun Prince over. Bringing Tayshaun Prince in to replace Rudy Gay.
It's worked out phenomenal for them.
I still don't. I think when it comes, Ugh, no.
Like, they had Gay last year, and they lost.
I'm not saying this because I like Gay. I hate
Gay
Gay
to me is not. And he's proven it in Toronto that he's an overpaid player to just really shoot. He's okay on defense, but to me, he wasn't worth the money, and the Grizzlies got something better off of it for the now. Yeah, I guess Joe Johnson 2.0. But I think the reason why I'm picking the Grizzlies is they are going to pound, the ball, and they have great perimeter defenders in Tayshaun Prince, Bayless, and Conley.
And don't forget Tony Allen.
Tony Allen was not at his best last year. In terms of one-on-one, he's still one of the best. One of the reasons why the 2008 Celtics won that championship. He is going to be on Chris Paul in the last 5 minutes of the game. And I think they're going to, that's why it's going to be a 7-game series. Sometimes Paul's going to win, sometimes Allen's going to win. I honestly feel defense will prevail, and sometimes towards the clutch, when the Clippers offense sometimes it gets a little stagnant sometimes if Paul isn't really distributing the ball. I feel that if Tony Allen does enough, he is going to be more than enough to stop Paul, and the Grizzlies will prevail.
I feel like the Clippers bench and whole team all around is just so much better than the Grizzlies.
I think so too.
My problem with Memphis is that in the last seconds of the game, you usually give it to perimeter player, but then Memphis, they don't have any perimeter players that can make their own shot. They have to give it to Gasol or Zach Randolph, and then in the winding seconds, they're going to double team. You're going to need someone from the perimeter is going to have to make a shot for them. I mean, who's going to be Tayshaun Prince or Jared Bayless, Tony Allen?
Prince has a history of making some good clutch shots.
Yep.
I think.
How many years ago?
I can create his own shot though when needed to. That's the thing. That's what separates, I believe, Memphis and Clippers, because they have Chris Paul and Jamal Crawford that can make their own shots.
Yep. Jamal Crawford.
That's what I'm worried about for Memphis. I think they do have a stronger big men, but it's just and better defense. But it's just the winning seconds. Who can you give to it?
I think it would be good to give it to Gasol and Randolph because, for example, one of the X factors in last year's series, who they don't have anymore, Reggie Evans, Kenyon Martin, they were going point for point in terms of grittiness and in the interior with the Grizzlies. They don't have that anymore. Now they have more, and I understand they have better perimeter players, but then you have DeAndre Jordan and Blake Griffin. Who else do you have in the interior to go up against Randolph and Gasol?
They usually go with Lamar Odom, and I don't even know who they go with. Ryan Hollins.
Yeah, this series could go either way, and that's the truth. But I personally feel that I've been a fan of the Grizzlies and the whole things that they've been doing. I think they are going to have enough to upset the Clippers. That's just me. I feel it's saying the Clippers is not a wrong thing to say, but of course the Clippers have superior talent in other areas. They could win, but I just think the Grizzlies.
It's truly a clash because, like you said, Gasol and Randolph are pound and ground type players who are going to get down and dirty, while Blake Griffin and DeAndre are high flyers, high athletic guys. So it's going to be interesting to see them go against each other, to see which style prevails in the end.
Yeah, so I think in the West, same thing. You have the numbers 1, 2, and 3 winning their series, a little bit of a 4, but these are definitely going to be a whole lot more fun to watch. Any last things you want to say about any of the matchup? Oh, no. What's your favorite West matchup, Derek?
As right now?
Yeah, what's your favorite? What are you excited to watch?
The Rockets versus OKC, man. I don't know, Rockets fan right here, so I just want to see them duke it out as much as they can.
Yeah.
I gotta go Denver and Golden State. I mean, I love when people play no defense at all. It's the best thing in the world.
Have you seen Rockets game?
And Elliot?
Being a Houston Rockets fan, obviously the Rockets and Oklahoma, but I'm really I want to Stephen Curry's growing on me as one of my favorite players. So I want to see the Golden State and Nuggets game.
For sure. To wrap it up, we're going to be covering the playoffs, every week, seeing the progress of the games. You're probably next week, we'll see if a couple of sweeps happen, and so we'll close out this episode. Thanks for listening, and I'll just say real quick the story of the title. It's a little confusing because it's pancakes, and pancakes have nothing to do with basketball.
They're
but
round.
Huh?
They're round.
They're round they're round like a
delicious.
basketball. But the reason why we came up with the name was because we went through 100 different choices for names, and we're still considering, when this ends, the season ends, maybe going with a more basketball-oriented.
The Elliot show.
Oh God, shut up! A more basketball-oriented name. But the reason why we chose pancakes was because Elliot cannot. Elliot likes to eat because he's a pig. He's 300 pounds if you ever see him, and
Of muscle.
Oh,
Yeah.
please. And so, and so he, you know, there's a deal at IHOP, International House of Pancakes, where you can get all the pancakes that you want. But Elliot can never get the deal. So the day that we were contemplating with a name, we went, you know, we were like, okay, we need to take a break. We went to go get some pancakes, and Elliot remembered it was Unlimited deal. Went over there, and he broke down in front of the waitress because she unfortunately said that they ran out of pancakes and that there was there wasn't, the deal was gone,
The deal
right?
just ended.
Oh yeah, the deal just
ended.
ended.
The day before. The day before.
The day before.
Yeah, so Elliot literally broke down in front of the lady. It was embarrassing but hilarious. And we decided, you know, if only
Greatest day of my life.
if only Elliot could get his unlimited pancakes. So we thought, why not call the show
All of
that?
the years I've known Elliot, I haven't seen him get this unlimited pancakes.
That's
once.
the thing. It's the thing that eludes him. He can't get those pancakes.
Excellent.
I want some pancakes.
You ain't getting any.
Oh,
The day
sure
you
I
get
have.
pancakes, we'll have to change the name of the show.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep the name of the show until you get some unlimited pancakes.
God. I always miss the free National Pancake Day too.
It's not worth it. It's just only 2.
It's a free pancake.
Something you can't get.
Oh God.
Okay. So any last words before we close it out?
Peace.
Later.
God, disgusting.
And pancakes.
All right. So yeah, he'll get his pancakes someday. No, he won't. All right. Toodaloo.
See you soon.
Life for hire.
Need medical attention?